Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my divisional round matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Now, let's kick it off with the injury report of the Houston Texans, starting off with the player who is out for this game, Jerry Hughes, with an ankle injury. And then we go to questionable players like Andrew Beck, the fullback with a back injury, and tackle George Fant with a illness. Everyone else on the injury report, such as guard Dietrich Aislinn, defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, defensive end Will Anderson, linebacker Blake Cashman, defensive tackle Malik Collins, defensive end Jonathan Greenard, wide receiver John Mechie III, linebacker Denzel Perryman, and wide receiver Robert Woods, linebacker Christian Harris, and cornerback Chris Boyd. Every single one of these players will be there, while we won't be seeing Jerry Hughes, unfortunately. But in the end, I do think that the Texans will be okay without that player specifically, but I think they'll do at least decently against the Baltimore Ravens, even though they have these many injuries. Now, moving on to the offense, we got CJ Stroud at quarterback, Devin Singletary at running back, fullback Andrew Beck, who is questionable, Nico Collins and Robert Woods at wide receiver, Dalton Schultz at tight end, Laramie Tunzel at left tackle, left guard Juice Scruggs, and Michael Dieter at center, Shaq Mason at right guard, and George Fant at right tackle. But if he cannot go, Charlie Heck will take over as right tackle. Now in this game, this is going to be a prove-it game for CJ Stroud. Are you the same quarterback that beat the Browns last week? I know the Browns were with Joe Flacco. This is going to be with Lamar Jackson, but forget the offense. We're talking about the defense of the Baltimore Ravens compared to the Cleveland Browns, which I think may be better than the Browns. But if they cannot keep Stroud in check, it's sayonara for the Baltimore Ravens on defense. Now let's move on to the defense. Starting at defensive ends, we got Will Anderson Jr. and Jonathan Greenard. Defensive tackles will be Malik Collins and Sheldon Rankins. Strong side linebackers, Blake Cashman. Denzel Perryman will be at inside linebacker, Christian Harris at the weak side linebacker position. Cornerbacks are Derek Stingley Jr. and Steven Nelson, with Jalen Petrie at the free safety position and DeAndre Houston Carson as the strong safety. This defense is going up against Lamar Jackson, Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Gus Edwards. This offense is going to be hard to stop, but if these guys manage to do it, then it's all set for the Houston Texans to go to the AFC Championship game. Now moving on to the Ravens injury report, and that is two players who are out, wide receiver Tylan Wallace with a knee injury, and cornerback Marlon Humphrey with a calf injury. Questionable players are tight end Mark Andrews with an ankle injury, wide receiver Devin Duvernay with a back injury, linebacker Sean Phillips with a shoulder injury, and safety R. Darius Washington with a pectoral injury. These players are active for this game, and that is linebacker Jadeveon Clowney with an illness. We also got a calf injury for Zay Flowers, and Malik Harrison with a groin injury, and Odafe Away with a ankle injury. These players, 4 players will play. The 4 other players who are questionable, I think Mark Andrews might miss this game again. And then we go to the 2 players who are out. Without Humphreys, that's going to be hard to cover players like, for example, Nick Collins, who has been outstanding for the Houston Texans recently. But in the end, I think that they do have enough to at least give some competition on defense. When it comes to offense, as long as they use their receivers and running backs correctly, Lamar Jackson will be just fine. Now let's move on to the offense of the Baltimore Ravens, starting with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Gus Edwards at running back, Patrick Richard at fullback, Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman at wide receiver, Isaiah Likely at tight end, Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, John Simpson at left guard, center Tyler Linderbaum, and right guard Kevin Zeitler, and right tackle Morgan Moses. this offense has been pretty good, especially with Gus Edwards in that backfield. I think Lamar Jackson has the arm power to throw it to his receivers deep downfield. So I think that this game he'll be letting it loose a little bit, but it'll mostly be on the ground with Edwards or maybe a little option with Lamar Jackson. But in the end, I do think that this Ravens offense can actually take down that defense of the Houston Texans, but it is still too close to call. Then we go on to the defense, and that consists of defensive ends. Justin Madubuike, I think that's how you say it. Broderick Washington with nose tackle Michael Pierce right there in the center. Then we got inside linebackers Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, with strong side linebacker Jadeveon Clowney and weak side linebacker Odafe Owe, with cornerbacks Ronald Darby and Brandon Stevens. And then we got safeties Marcus Williams and strong safety Kyle Hamilton. Now, this defense is going to have a little bit of trouble with a specific player, and that is Nick Collins specifically. I'm saying that because CJ Stroud is pretty good. And without their top corner in Marlon Freeze, I think that this honestly is going to be a bad day for Baltimore's defense. But as long as they can keep that receiving core in check, and as long as no big runs by Devin Singletary are given, I think the Ravens could actually keep this game relatively on their side. But in the end, I do think that it is highly unlikely for the Ravens to be able to stop CJ Stroud. At least it'll be a shootout on offense. Now, moving on to the conclusion. And that conclusion is the Houston Texans losing to the Baltimore Ravens 24-28. Now, I think the Ravens will win mostly because of Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, and Zay Flowers and Gus Edwards. This offense is just too good not to win. But in the end, they will be giving it a fight, the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud will either, well, for him, hopefully go to the AFC Championship game, but I am not predicting that. I am predicting he goes home to Houston empty-handed and goes and prepares for the 2024 season. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tweet me any video ideas, and also tell me down in the comments below who do you think will win and who do you think will lose. Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe, and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.